Okay, Joe Diomede here, telling montbrun, beautiful church. I'm in a neighboring town called Domazon, and it's an interesting thing going on today. It's a little bit of people are out here supporting the local restaurants because the local restaurants have all been closed. People losing their livelihoods, and it's not a good situation. So there's people here from all the surrounding villages supporting the restaurants, the bars. This is the one town where it's happening. It's happening all over France, supposedly, and the name of the place is the Tomate de Jardin. It's a lovely restaurant and it's doing very well, obviously, but this season not so well because of the obvious reasons. And so here we are. And people eating, drinking, obviously not living with much fear, as we haven't been in this area for quite a long time, 10 or so months. And so it's good to see everyone's out in support of the restaurants and the hopefully turn around what's going on in the world with the economies, all the small places losing so much business and losing their livelihoods. Some people drop their lives into these businesses, and now the businesses are all falling out from under them. So here we go, and they put out hot drinks for the people who come in. Mama with a little baby, and there's some hot drinks there, and so it's really, really good to see. So, qu'est-ce qui se passe aujourd'hui ici?
Ici, on est là pour soutenir la tomate du jardin.
Et pourquoi?
Pourquoi? Parce que c'est un peu pas normal qu'il y ait des fermetures comme ça sur les restaurants alors que les supermarchés sont ouverts, que voilà, ça n'a aucun sens.
Oui, cool. Et tu habites ici dans la ville?
Moi, j'habite à Montesquieu maintenant, mais j'habitais à Montbrun avant et je suis client de la tomate depuis l'ouverture. Ça fait 8 ans, 9 ans, voilà. Et c'est un très bon restaurant, donc je suis très contente de les soutenir aujourd'hui.
Oui.
Là, des gens humains.
Oui, exact. C'est un petit bébé?
Ouais, c'est mon petit bébé, voilà, qui est là aussi pour sa première manifestation.
Et pour l'avenir, peut-être beaucoup encore, beaucoup plus.
Pour lui.
Cool. Et merci. Bonjour. Ok. Bonjour, qu'est-ce qui se passe aujourd'hui?
Qu'est-ce qui se passe aujourd'hui? On est en fait dans une journée de rassemblement pour les restaurateurs. Voilà, je ne sais pas si vous êtes au courant, le 1er février aujourd'hui, tous les restaurateurs sont invités à se réunir pour manifester un peu contre la fermeture des restaurants.
Ok, cool. Tu travailles ici?
Je travaille ici, je suis ex-employé, ex-cuisinier du coup.
Ouais, exact, oui. C'est dommage. Et pour l'instant, tu es fermé pour combien de temps?
Pour l'instant, les restaurants sont fermés de manière indéterminée, on va dire. Ouais.
Oui, c'est indéterminé, mais tu étais fermé combien de mois maintenant?
En hiver.
Oui.
En fait, en hiver, normalement, le restaurant est fermé au moins de novembre jusqu'à mars.
Ok.
Voilà. Et là, du coup, normalement, mars, on rattaque la saison jusqu'à novembre.
Les dernières saisons, vous êtes fermé toutes les saisons, le dernier?
Oui, toutes les années, ça se passe comme ça. L'hiver, on est fermé et l'été, on travaille.
Oui. Mais le dernier été, tu étais fermé?
Oui. Ah, le dernier été, est-ce qu'on était fermé? Non, on était ouvert l'été dernier.
Ah, ok.
Ouais.
C'est ça. So, on espère, c'est bien, c'est beaucoup des clients, des amis. Hein?
Oui, alors il y a des clients, il y a des amis, il y a aussi des producteurs. Parce qu'on travaille aussi beaucoup avec les producteurs du coin. On a Célina qui est derrière moi, qui s'occupe du fromage de chèvre qu'on utilise pour les entrées. On a Thibaut qui fait des magnifiques légumes. On a aussi Émile qui fabrique du miel. Enfin, on a vraiment beaucoup de gens autour de nous qu'on fait travailler, qui nous font travailler aussi. Et avec qui on a un lien très fort.
Oui, c'est vrai, oui, c'est beaucoup de... Oui, tu emploies beaucoup de régions, oui, le petit producteur, ok. Oui, et merci. Right. So basically, what he was saying there was, he's a restaurant, and they're normally open between they're normally open in the season, for the tourist season and closed. And this year is no different. But of course, they've been forced to close with the COVID, and it not only affects them, it affects the people here are clients, people who've come to the restaurant to eat. Also, people who are here are people that this restaurant supported. Local honey maker, the local cheese maker who makes ghost cheese for their entrees. There's the guy here who grows all their vegetables. And all these people are suffering. And here's a man who runs our local, he's in one of our local markets. His name is Pierre. And he's here supporting what's going on. See if I get a question. He's in conversation right now. And there's another woman who does our market, who sells local pizzas. And all these people who just making a living, small businesses being closed out. Pierre! Pierre! Bonjour, Pierre! Tu peux parler en anglais ou en français?
Very, very bad. Français.
Français, ok. Non, non, toute langue, c'est cool. So, aujourd'hui, ici, juste devant le Tomate de Jardin, un petit restaurant local, qu'est-ce qui se passe ici?
Eh ben aujourd'hui, on a décidé de résister. Donc, ce restaurant a eu le courage d'ouvrir. Donc, il y a des gens qui ont réservé. Bon, c'est un petit restaurant, donc c'est complet. Donc, il y a des gens qui sont dedans, qui sont en train de manger. Et nous, on attend dehors et de temps en temps, le restaurateur nous envoie des petits gâteaux et du café. Et on résiste.
Oui, oui. Et pourquoi tu es ici pour le soutien? Pourquoi?
Et parce que tout simplement, moi je suis un dangereux complotiste, donc je pense que cette pandémie est montée de toutes pièces. Donc je pense qu'il faut résister parce que sinon, on va tous se faire bouffer.
Oui, oui, oui. Oui. Et tu as une petite stand au marché local ici?
Moi j'ai un petit stand au marché de montbrun-bocage, voilà, donc on vend du café, des boissons chaudes. Et je suis musicien, donc je suis intermittent du spectacle, donc j'ai une perfusion de l'État qui me permet de vivre, mais je ne peux plus travailler, je ne peux plus faire de concerts, donc voilà, j'ai le temps de m'occuper, de regarder des vidéos complotistes et de me documenter et de résister.
Ok, merci Pierre. Well, so there you go. And so basically, what Pierre was saying, he's a musician. He runs a local coffee stand, and his coffee stand, luckily, that's doing okay in the local market. And that's because he has people again who support him, and the local market is still surviving. We live in in an area where people do support others, and he was saying he's also a musician, and he does an intimate spectacle, which is it's a statute here where he has to do a certain amount of hours a year, and that's all suffering as well. A lot of musicians as well, the music world all over the world, and here it's all suffering under these current restrictions and what's going on. So it's difficult. I got Thibaut here. He's French. I'm gonna see if he wants to do an interview. I'm not sure. Thibaut. Thibaut's talking at the moment. There we go. Heated discussions going on. Thibaut, can I ask you a couple of questions? Okay, so actually, Thibaut speaks English and French, so we'll do it in English with Thibaut, so my English-speaking audience could understand without my translations of the French. So Thibaut, you're here with this restaurant supporting this manif, and you're a local grower. Do you supply the restaurant?
Yeah, they're actually quite a good customer. So yeah, usually, when they open, they take veg once or twice a week. And they're really committed to buying local organic food. And
since they've been closed, has it hurt you're a local grower, so you depend on restaurants, and you also depend on the people around who would support you. But do you supply any other restaurants, or is this one of your few restaurants that you supply?
Yeah, this is pretty much the only one. And actually, I've got more demand than I can offer. So last year, it was quite interesting with the confinement. They made their own garden, which meant they grew a lot of their own veg, and they managed to make the whole menu with everything from their garden. So yeah, they hardly bought any vegetables from me last year. But in a way, I'm really happy about that. It's a really great project that they've got going. And
wow, and they grow where? Right in this area?
Yeah. Well, they don't live on site. They've got a house a bit further away, and yeah, they've got a big garden there. Yeah.
And it's interesting what you just said about your project, because you started a couple of years ago with your biodynamic farm, yeah? And you said you have 5 years now. Okay, and your supply just about meets your demand?
So,
The supply that you have just about meets the demand you have. You said the demand has really gone up in the last year or two?
just generally, I mean, I don't know. Every year I produce a bit more, and every year I sell out. And the organic shops could always take 10 times more than what I can offer. At the market, I always sell out. So, yeah, there's a great demand for organic vegetables.
Which is
Yeah.
in the area and everywhere, which is good to hear, because that's good. I mean, it's good for you, and it's also good that a lot of people are eating healthily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks, and thanks a lot. And why exactly? Can you explain like what's going on here? To my audience, my English-speaking audience. So, why is everyone out here? What are we doing out here in front of the restaurant?
Well, restaurants have been shut down since October last year for some dubious reasons, most of us think, and which means that they can't work. They can't generate an income, and there's today a national day of support to restaurants, where lots of them have decided to open anyway, despite the interdiction, and that's why we're supporting them. Unfortunately, they're full, so we can book a table, but we're still supporting, and they're bringing us little cakes outside, so it's very nice of them.
Are there people eating inside?
Yeah, there's people eating inside. Yeah, all the tables are full. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I didn't realize that actually. I came a little later.
Yeah. The second they got the information got out that they were going to open for one day, all the tables were booked.
Excellent. And can you explain just a little about this, if you know? Is this happening nationwide? I know in Foix and other places. So what's going on today nationwide in France?
Yeah, nationwide. From my understanding, is that nationwide restaurants and bars are opening today, and people are going out to support them because they've been suffering a lot since this.
And they're opening today. I mean, to use the word, is it against the ban? Is it all like clandestinely open, but not very clandestine, as you can see around?
Yeah. It's illegal, and there's been a lot of threats of fines and cutting off all the help that they were receiving, and so I'm not sure how far they will go with these threats, but it was made public, I don't know, last night or the day before.
Yeah. I got the text. And has the police have the policemen by here today?
Yeah, they came in, and so I don't know exactly what they said, but it sounds like it was pretty polite and nice. And when they got out, we couldn't see under their mask, but they looked like they were smiling. So, and they were pretty friendly. So it looks like it was going quite well with the police.
Yeah, cool. Well, obviously everyone out here, no one's wearing a mask, so the police. Oh, there you go. There's the chef from the restaurant, and see if I can grab her quickly. Bonjour, hello.
Bonjour.
Tu peux dire un petit mot pour le télémembran? C'est qu'est-ce qui se passe ici dedans? Tu as les clients dedans et aujourd'hui c'est un succès?
Oui, c'est un succès. On a beaucoup de gens qui nous soutiennent et ça fait vraiment plaisir. On voit que les gens veulent que les restaurants réouvrent.
Excellent. Et tu as le souci avec les gendarmes ou pas?
Pour l'instant, non. Ils sont venus regarder, ils ont compté un peu les personnes qu'il y avait et ils ont dit qu'ils ne nous embêtaient pas pendant le service. Ils vont repasser tout à l'heure pour nous voir quand tout le monde sera parti, quoi.
Ok, excellent.
On ne sait pas encore, mais déjà, ils ne nous ont pas perturbé le service.
Ok, excellent. Et tu restes ouvert toutes les journées?
Alors là, c'est juste le service de ce midi, mais bon, comme ça a traîné en longueur, qu'il y avait beaucoup de journalistes, tout s'est retardé. Donc là, les gens finissent de manger. Et puis après, on verra.
Ok. Et merci pour le restaurant dans la région. C'est chouette, bon restaurant. Et j'espère l'échange avec les règles. Hein?
Oui, parce que sinon après il n'y aura plus de restaurant nulle part. C'est ça qui est terrible, c'est que voilà, pour l'instant on tient le coup, mais pour combien de temps? Et vu qu'on n'a pas de date pour réouvrir, on ne sait pas. Voilà.
Si vous êtes fermé en 6 ans encore, c'est possible pour rester ouvert pour l'avenir?
Je sais pas, plus le temps passe, plus ça devient compliqué après. Comme on n'a pas de date pour l'instant, on ne peut pas prévoir.
C'est pas que vous, parce que c'est le petit producteur, l'autre restaurant, les bars, tout.
Oui, et les salariés aussi. Alors d'un côté, il va y avoir la moitié des restaurants qui vont faire faillite, et de l'autre côté, les salariés, la moitié qui vont se recycler, qui vont partir vers un autre métier, plus sûr pour eux, ce qui est normal, ils ont besoin de travailler, donc ils peuvent très bien changer de voie. Et nous, alors ceux qui vont rester vont peut-être plus trouver de personnel, parce que le personnel va aussi se former à autre chose. Donc on ne sait pas ce qui va ressortir de ça. Ouais.
Oui, c'est grave, ouais, c'est grave.
Et en plus, comme on accuse les restaurants qu'on est les grands contaminants, va savoir si les jeunes enfants, plus tard, auront peut-être peur d'aller au restaurant, tellement on leur dit que c'est au restaurant que ça se transmet, les maladies. Peut-être que les enfants vont dire « Ah, je ne vais pas au restaurant, c'est là-bas qu'il y a les maladies ».
Ouais. Ça, c'est le problème pour l'avenir. C'est le changement de la mentalité autour de la vie. Hein. Oui. Les restaurants, les bars, la vie sur le rue, dans nos villages et tout. Oui. Ouais.
Donc,
Et vous êtes ici?
enfin, moi, je suis hollandaise d'origine, mais ça fait 10 ans que j'ai le restaurant ici. Oui,
C'est 10 ans déjà.
10 ans déjà.
Wow, excellent. Ok, merci. Et bonne journée et bonne journée de soutien.
Merci beaucoup d'être venu. Merci.
Cool. So, yeah, she was saying, again, if she has to do another season close, she doesn't know what the future might hold because it'd be very difficult to stay open. She has clients. She has obviously she has people who work for her, and they'll have to get some other types of work, and she loses the clients that have been working with her for quite a few years. And if she loses all that, the restaurant closes, and who knows? And it's not only her; there's other restaurants, bars, everything in the region, life on the street, kids growing up with fear, and everything else going on. There's a local musician here, Thierry, and Emily, and yeah. So there we go. Salut tout le monde, c'est les musiciens local. Et vous êtes ici pour soutenir le restaurant?
Absolument. Enfin, soutenir le restaurant. Moi, je soutiens moi-même d'abord. Hein. Ma propre vie, ma liberté.
Oui, ok. Oui, c'est sûr.
Soutenir celle des autres, bah voilà. Pourquoi?
Et tu es un musicien aussi. Ton métier, c'est difficile aussi, hein?
Musicien, on peut plus l'exercer à peine sur les marchés, un peu. Peut-être un peu.
C'est un grand changement avec les règles, hein? Le règle de Covid pour toi.
Les règles du Covid. Fuck the Covid.
Ok, tiens.
C'est quel média tu fais?
C'est Montbrun.
Montbrun.
Oui, j'ai une Chanel pendant 5 ans. Oui, c'est moi, c'est un petit Chanel de YouTube.
Bah ouais, c'est bien. On connaît un peu.
Normalement, c'est en anglais, mais aujourd'hui, c'est un petit mélange d'anglais et de français. C'est mixte, oui. Et toi, tu parles l'anglais? Non.
Yes, sir.
Oui?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, sure.
So, are you a musician as well?
Not at home, no. I'm a researcher.
A researcher? And what kind of research do you do?
I'm into soil science now.
Into?
Soil science,
Which is?
les sciences du sol. Science of the soil, so I'm studying transfer of carbon from litter, soil, atmosphere, the carbon cycle.
Okay, the carbon cycle. Excellent. Wow. And I know you. I know your face, but you live in the region.
Yeah, I live in Domazan.
You live right here in the ville. And do you eat in this restaurant often when it's open?
When it's open, I more or less regular, but not that often. But yeah, a few times a year. Yeah.
Okay. And so you're here to support.
Exactly. That's the only reason I'm here now, because to support the restaurant. Yeah. This restaurant and actually all restaurants, and to talk about musicians, all those who've seen their profession endangered.
And that's many.
And that's many, yeah. So definitely, yeah. For all those, I'm here.
Yeah. Very good. I think a lot of people here are supporting that, and it's all over France. We were talking before. This is happening hopefully in all the towns and villages around to support the small restaurants and bars and the musicians. So has your work been affected?
Everyone's work has been affected, I guess. But I am not in danger of losing my job. But the contact with colleagues has reduced. Working from home or working in the lab with colleagues around is not the same thing. So definitely there is some effect, yeah.
Oh, sure, right, because you used to go to Toulouse.
To Moulis these days, but near Saint-Giron. But and I still go sometime twice a week. Um, but you cannot substitute human interactions with digital technology. So
Definitely, I agree. And I'm sorry, your first name?
Raoul.
Raoul, yeah. And Raoul, yeah, you moved here from Holland recently.
I moved from the Netherlands, but that's a long time ago. I came into France in 2006. And I came into Marseille, and I'm in the region here for about 5 years now.
Right. And yeah, we were saying about technology. The whole social fabric is being ripped apart. Kids are looking at humans as fearful because everyone's wearing a mask. And you have 2 young children?
One young boy, luckily not 6 years old yet, so he's not obliged to wear a mask.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
But he's facing teachers who are wearing masks, and I'm not very fond of that either.
And do you feel that, have you seen a change in him since the beginning of this whole mask wearing thing? I guess because is he in school?
He's in school, yeah. I find that he's very tired every day, every evening, and I'm not sure. My hypothesis is that by having to communicate with adults, teachers who are wearing masks, it requires more attention, and that's tiring. The reason why I think this is because when I came into France myself, the first few months at 9 o'clock in the evening I was naked, because it takes so much energy to concentrate all the time to see what's being said, and so I know by experience how much it takes. If just a little changes how much attention, how much you have to concentrate in order to understand what's going on. And so I think this is what I'm seeing in my son.
And much more difficult. I mean, for me, again, I'm not a native French speaker, obviously, and I find it very hard to have a conversation with someone with a mask on because you don't realize how much of it is a little bit of lip reading, is a little bit of facial expression, and that's all part of language, and we've just wiped that part out. Well, obviously not here.
Obviously not here, yeah. But definitely, I think experts on communication think that more than half of communication actually is non-verbal. It's lip reading, it's body language, it's also the eyes. These still are visible, luckily, but yeah, I mean.
Oh, I could agree with that. I mean, I spent many, many years traveling the world, and I'm not very good at languages. And I always got my point across. Again, facial expressions and point, and there's so much, body. That's part of it, and social interaction. It's stuff you cannot do in the screen.
Exactly, you can't do in the screen. It really takes, it destroys the quality of interactions, I think.
Yeah. So as a scientist, as a researcher, I mean, I know it's not your field, but do you feel in this current pandemic that we're going through, quote unquote, do you feel that the curative responses that society has taken is actually benefiting, or is it worse than the actual disease itself? I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't feel like it.
I think it's actually disastrous, and I think it's far worse than the disease itself. Definitely there is a disease. There is definitely some surmortalité, enhanced mortality. To a large extent, maybe completely this can be explained by increased aging of populations, also partly because in 2017 there was an influenza with a larger mortality, and the 2 years afterwards with less mortality. So you're getting into some kind of cyclical but non-yearly pattern.
So without getting into any deeper conversation about conspiracies or everything like that, it is a little bit strange. I find as well the way it's been dealt with, and like we said, they're ripping up the social fabric. Thankfully, people are here supporting this restaurant, and people are doing this all over France, which is very nice. And how about in your home country of Holland? Do you have any contact with people there?
I've got some contact with my sister and my mom. Initially, the measures were a bit less harsh, but now they've been turning a little bit as well. But then I'm hearing things, I'm not living things. And what we've just been saying here is how important it is to live things.
Yes. Yes.
In that sense, there are things I know, but have not lived them. So
Yes.
that always remains different.
Very, very good answer because it's true. In any way, shape, or form, the fear or the, you might live in fear if you lived in a big city. You might be more fearful than living where we live, and we have no idea of what other people are going through. But again, we also, with the media giving us so much information, that's confusing as well because it's never first-hand knowledge, is it? It's always fourth-hand by the time it makes it to the media, and that's shaping society's whole opinion of this current situation we're in.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very good. Well, Raul, I've been to your place for a concert over the summer, remember?
Definitely I do, yeah.
And that was again after the first lockdown, and we even then this area was kind of curving the rules, breaking the rules a bit, but it's still proven to not really have a big negative effect in our area. Do you have any ideas on why that may be? I mean, besides being a green, people say, oh, it's a green area, but still there's a lot of people in contact right here in front of this camera, as people can see. Just any feelings,
Yeah. What I would guess is simply it's not densely populated, and so therefore, by definition, transfer of the disease is less pronounced. I think that's a very important thing.
And do you feel that this contact that we have, this and what we've been doing in this region since after the first lockdown, do you think that helps in any way people's immune systems? This positive contact, human contact, not living in the constant fear, not being masked. Do you think that? I mean, I don't want to be giving you a leading question. I'm just asking stuff that comes to my mind, and I haven't really done any interviews about the whole COVID thing.
Definitely the initial state of the immune system is extremely important. I have no idea how people's immune systems are here relative to those in other places, but well, I think there's definitely less pollution, that helps a bit. I think quite a lot of people eat relatively healthy, that helps quite a bit. So I think, living on the countryside is a good thing these days.
Everyone's supporting the owner. Is that the owner?
Yeah. That's the owner, yeah. Lionel.
Lionel, the owner, he's coming out. Let's see if he's going to say anything. Hold on. I'm going to get him on mic here.
C'est quoi la radio de Mazin ou quoi? Qu'est-ce que tu veux que
This is Télé Montbrun. Télé Montbrun, c'est une petite station de Montbrun. C'est mon channel de YouTube. Je suis ici pour parler avec le client pour le soutien de ton restaurant et tout. Tu es le propriétaire de le restaurant ici?
Voilà, je suis le propriétaire du restaurant, je suis Lionel, mais je suis comparativement à ma femme Ilona qui est en cuisine, pas grand-chose.
Qu'est-ce que tu penses?
Ce que j'ai envie de dire aux gens, c'est que tout simplement, on a envie de retourner vers une vie normale, comme avant. Ça veut dire retourner au restaurant, retourner au spectacle, sans avoir l'impression d'être un criminel lorsqu'on boit une tasse de café ou une coupe de champagne au bar. On a simplement envie d'embrasser la vie, de mordre la vie et non de se retrouver dans une forme de tunnel depuis lequel on voit aucune espèce de lueur au bout de celui-ci. Donc voilà, je crois que la liberté n'a pas de prix et il faut que tout le monde s'élève, tous autant qu'on est, on s'élève face à ça et que on reprenne le chemin du restaurant, qu'on retourne au spectacle, qu'on dise non, on n'est pas d'accord et il faut que les gens absolument le fassent savoir.
Ouais, ok.
Bon, ça c'est chouette.
Ok, merci Lionel.
Merci à toi.
Et le petit, avec le chocolat. Okay, well, I think, we got a lot of different opinions here, and all is going quite well, and that's we had a nice interview, and so thank you to Raul and Thibaut and everyone else, and what Lionel was saying, he's supporting everybody, not only the restaurants, everyone has been affected by these regulations, and with Raul was saying about the people in the countryside. Thibaut also said, yeah, people buying his food, eating organic food. Okay, Joe Diomede, Montbrun, saying goodbye from the lovely streets of Domazon. We got the church in the background there, fading off to the restaurant. Montbrun. There we go. Ariège, Domazon. Life on the streets. Let it get back to normal soon. Goodbye.